Hi, my name is Zach, and today we are going to be setting up a mock 2-point anchor climbing system. We can only use, you really only want to use 2 points, 2-point anchors when you're anchoring off of trees or boulders or bolts. If you're anchoring with protection like hexes or cams or nuts, you always want to use at least 3 pieces. We use 2 pieces because we know that the trees are strong or the boulders aren't going to move, or you want to make sure that the bolts are in quality condition. The type of anchor we're going to be setting up today is called a distributing anchor. That's because pretty much any direction we move, the anchor is going to self-equalize itself and put equal pressure or equal force on each of the points. So what we want to do first is create a loop, and we're going to pretend that this rope here is cordelette, which is a proper material for setting up anchors. So we already have our 2 points set up here. So now what we want to do is create our loop using the double fisherman's knot. So what we want to do is take the 2 ends of rope right here and overlap them. Now what you want to do is take one end of rope, wrap it around your thumb and the other side of the rope, wrap it around again, creating an X, and then wrap it around the 3rd time, passing it through the 2 loops that you just made. Pull it tight. Now you've got one side of the knot, you need to make the other. Loop it around your thumb once, twice, creating the X, and through both of the loops. Get my thumb out of there. And pull that tight. Now what you can do is pull the 2 ends of the loop together, and you've got your double fisherman's knot and a strong loop. Alright, so now what we want to do to create this distributing anchor is pass the loop through both of the anchor points here that we've already got set up. So now we've got what we call the American triangle, which can be really deadly. It's unfortunate that it's called the American triangle, but if we just pulled this down, we've got our triangle. If one of the anchor points were to fail, there's nothing to catch us or to back us up. So that can be really, really deadly if you're not careful. One thing we can do, a really simple remedy, is called the magic X. So all we have to do, we've got our triangle here, all we have to do is put a twist in the rope to create a loop, and creating that X, that magic X. So we pull that loop down, match it up with our other loop, pass that carabiner through, and ideally this should be 2 locking carabiners opposite and opposed of each other. So now if one of our anchors were to fail, that loop that we created is going to catch us, which is really handy. And now our anchor is still distributing. The force is being applied to both of our points fairly equally. Unfortunately, if one of our anchor points fails, even though it'll stop us, we're still going to go a ways before we reach the end of this rope. So one thing we can do to prevent that is by using simple overhand knots close to our master point, which would be down here. So we tie that knot, link it back up, do the same with the other side. Simple overhand knot. Pass that through there. Let me redo that. We've got our anchor here. Simple overhand knot, there we go. Hook that loop back up. And now if one of the points were to fail, we still got our Magic X in there, but we don't extend all the way to the end of this loop. This knot catches us. So what we do once we got everything set up is we check it using the acronym SERENE. The S stands for strong. We want to make sure that the anchor points are strong. We want to make sure that the material we're using is strong. The A is the angle. We want to make sure that we're using ideally a 60-degree or less angle when we're creating our anchor. Otherwise we're putting a lot of stress in many different directions on these 2 points. R, which stands for redundancy. If one of these points were to fail, is the other point going to catch us? And the answer, if the system is redundant, the answer would be yes. E stands for equalizing. As we move, is there equal force applied to both points? Using this style of anchor really helps for equalizing. And the last NE stands for no extension, and the extension is prevented by these 2 knots here. So we aren't extending all the way to the end if one of these points fails. So there we have it, a simple anchor for top rope climbing called the distributing anchor. There are many types of anchors, but this is a great way, great simple anchor to start climbing. Thanks a lot.